guys, welcome to the video. I'm so happy you're here today. I'm gonna do something a little bit interesting for me, maybe for you, I don't know. Anime is weird and manga is weird and Japanese humor is weird. It's goofy and I love it because of those things, but that's not the case for everybody. It's now so accessible and so streamlined, whereas before you would either have to have a separate Crunchyroll subscription, and that's only if you knew what Crunchyroll was, which usually meant you already were into anime or manga, or some sus site, right? So Netflix has made it where the mainstream consumers have access to either discover or seek out anime in a way that's convenient for them. So I think that was a huge part of why, and then that happened during quarantine. So I think that was a huge reason why anime and manga has become so mainstream. Well, that's the reason why I think anime is mainstream. Now, is manga mainstream? Are there people actually reading manga that are regular people in America? So this is my experiment. I'm going to drive around the wilderness and try to find manga in people's yards and garages. I'm going to yard sales and garage sales. Now, I don't know what a monster sale is, but I am intrigued. How exciting, my first yard sale thing in America. Yard sales, little libraries. These are very American things, and it's exciting to be able to experience them. I also feel like I should have brought Hazel or something, because a yard sale.
Or staging a yard sale would be a great way to lure people to your home.
And that terrifies me. But I got ninja tools. Yeah, they didn't have any manga. No, but seriously, they didn't. You guys don't happen to have manga or anything, do you? Japanese comics, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm on a... Yeah, no worries. I figured if I'm gonna write fantasy, I should read the classics and the timeless fantasies, right? Oh my god. I found this yard sale place and they were selling snowboarding gear, and they had these cutest, oh my god, the cutest these things. I have to pee really bad. Like, you know when you're young and every time you leave the house, your parents are like, hit the potty. Make sure you go to the bathroom. Who?
I need somebody to do that for me as an adult.
You know, most of these yard sales only go to like 4 p.m. and it's 3:15 right now. So I'm thinking that maybe I won't find any anywhere. So I am cheating a little bit by going to a used bookstore. But, you know, still kind of the same thing. There was this giant bookstore, this giant used bookstore, and only this little sliver, maybe like less than 1% of the store was dedicated to comic books. And then not only that, but out of all of the comic books that were in English, there was an even smaller fraction of manga. I found 2 manga that are volume 1, and not only that, they're in Japanese. Woo! But that also meant that I didn't know what they were until I pulled them out and looked at the title. This one is volume 1 of 7 Deadly Sins. And this one is volume 1 of Assassination Classroom, which is an anime that people keep recommending to me. So I'm super excited that I found it. And I have a $5 bill left, so I want to go back and try to find that house that had the snowboarding glove, because I can't stop thinking about them. And the only problem is I don't remember where it was, and my map was online at the top. And my map was offline at the time, so maybe we'll find it, maybe we'll go home disappointed. Who knows? Maybe I'll pee my pants. Yeah. It's time for me to eat. Korean food! I've been craving jjajangmyeon. If you haven't had it before, it kind of looks like this. It is the next evening. I want to read Seven Deadly Sins first because I'm actually quite looking forward to Assassination Classroom. And let's see if I like them and if there's something that I want to keep looking into. Excuse me, what? Story started good, okay. I was like, I like medieval times. I like knights in shining armor. I like magic. I'm down for a story about King Arthur. This is gonna be cool. The story starts out with like these people at the bottom of a hill and they're like, oh, the Boar Hat. We don't remember this tavern being here, which is kind of interesting. So it's like, oh, does this tavern move around? There are a lot of questions that are starting to come up, right? And then these guys go into the bar and they get served with really shitty food. They get served with food that's so awful they vomit everywhere. And I'm like, ha ha, comedy. There's a talking pig, super awesome. This knight comes in who's been rumored to be like haunting the areas, muttering something about the seven deadly sins. And we find out from some wanted posters on the billboard that the seven deadly sins were people that were trying to usurp the throne or take down the kingdom or something. And they're on the run, they're on the lam, and they have these incredible skills and powers, and nobody has been able to bring them down. Then, boom, door opens. This rusting knight comes in, deadly, and then collapses. So it seems like they were trying to say deadly sins or something, but nobody really knows. They think that this knight is one of the deadly sins, seven deadly sins, looking for their comrades. Then there's a scene that made me want to quit reading. The boy, who I think I've heard from actually rumors that he's not actually a boy, but actually he's like a grown person, but it doesn't matter, okay? Grown or not, the thing that he does next is unacceptable. The knight passes out, and he's like, something's up with this knight. So he starts taking off the knight's armor, and then once he takes off the knight's armor, he sees that it's a girl. He's like, oh my god, it's a girl. And so he looks, he's like, yeah, it's definitely a girl. This sleeping face, the body line, like the curves, the body shape. And then he sniffs her coochie. What? What? And then not only that, but he touches her. He touches her chest, and I'm like, boy. And I honestly should have just put it down there. A lot of my favorite stories don't have any kind of. I'm okay with spice. This is just straight up assault, sir. You should go to jail, Mr. Protagonist. So, you may have different opinions from me, but I had to put it down. I cannot read or continue or watch Seven Deadly Sins because our main protagonist is not somebody that I want to root for. He sucks. Assassination Classroom. Hopefully this one is a little bit less gross. We'll see. Who knows? Unfortunately, the last clip of the video did not get recorded, so here I am kind of recapping. I enjoyed Assassination Classroom. I love the premise of it. They stand up it's like a classroom, right? Classroom 3E. So they're in middle school, third year. They're like basically the equivalent of freshmen in high school. It's the beginning of class, and there's like an octopus man at the front of the classroom. And sorry, I'm a little bit delirious because I'm tired, but he's standing at the front of the classroom, and he goes, "Kids," which is like, "Attention." And usually in a Japanese classroom, they'll go, "Day," and everyone will bow together, and that's how they'll start the day. But today, in this classroom, 30-something kids, instead of bowing, pull out machine guns, pull out assault rifles, pull out various weapons, and they start opening fire on their octopus teacher. I was like, whoa, what's going on? And then we found out that this is a class of assassins, and I don't really want to get into the whole story because I'm tired and you're probably tired, and so long story short, the octopus teacher is like bow, dodging them, right? Like, he cannot be touched. And he does say that these BBs that are inside these BB guns, these very realistic looking BB guns, will slice and dice him, eviscerate his cells, but they just aren't fast enough, and he just keeps dodging them. And the BBs are not unsafe for humans. They're not fatal, but he doesn't want you like pointing them at each other and maybe getting hurt, popping someone in the eye. So he said that you're only allowed to fire your BB guns in class if you are trying to hit me. And it's all very confusing. It's like, one, why is this octopus man teaching this class? And two, why are they all trying to kill him? It's because at the beginning of this year, a giant hole was blown through the moon, and it was him who did it. He's very fast, he's very strong, and he has the power to destroy the entire moon. And next, he wants to do it to the Earth. But he asked for one request. He said, please, just let me keep... Oh, that scared the crap out of me. He said, I have one request. Please let me teach class 3E. Okay, fine. As long as you don't hurt anybody, and this is the Ministry of Defense speaking. Okay, as long as you don't hurt anybody, you can watch class 3E. And the octopus guy goes, yeah, but at the end of the year, I'm gonna destroy the Earth. It's like, okay, whatever, dude. So the Ministry of Defense comes to the class, and they're like, okay, he has promised not to hurt any of you, but in exchange, he's going to be your teacher for a year, and at the end of the year, he's going to destroy the Earth. So it's up to you all, since you get to watch him closely, seeing him every single day. You know, as the Ministry of Defense, we allowed this because as long as he's here teaching, we can keep an eye on him. And every single day, you all will have the close opportunity to assassinate him. So please do. We will arm you. And it's like the weirdest dynamic ever, because he's like the teacher, the octopus guy, which we also find out looks like an alien, has like motives like an alien would, but he claims to have been born and raised on Earth. And already in the first chapter, and I watched the anime first episode because I wanted to see it in animation form. I like to hear the voice actors and things like that, and I can understand Japanese way better than I can read manga. The manga was actually too hard for me. I didn't understand the Japanese vocabulary words, so I read it on my phone in English. Maybe I need to start studying Japanese. It's so embarrassing, I'm sorry. But I can't my listening is okay. It's my reading that's not good. So then, okay, we find out the mission, we find out what the kids are trying to do, but this octopus teacher guy, he's actually a really good teacher, and you can tell that he actually cares about the students. And then you find out from the main character student that we're following, whose name is Nagisa, who I definitely thought was a girl, but I think is probably a boy. Hazel. Nagisa got transferred. Nagisa got transferred to class 3E because of some reason. And you see this montage of people being like, oh my god, I'm going to disassociate myself with them. Ew, I'm going to delete them from my contacts. Oh my god, how embarrassing. Even their teacher is like, what you've done has ruined my reputation. I'm glad I never have to see you again. Get out of here. Go to class 3E. And we find out that class 3E is like this hidden class that's a part of the entirety of a prep school, a very prestigious prep school, but this class in particular, class 3E, is hidden away at the top of a mountain, super secluded, hard to get to, where all the misfits and rejects go. So basically they're like, yeah, we have no way to get out of here. Oh, I forgot to mention the most important thing. The Ministry of Defense said, please assassinate your teacher. Please get rid of your teacher to save the Earth, but also we'll give you 10 billion yen, which is not that much it doesn't sound like as much in dollars. I don't know, it's probably like 10 billion. Do the math. Ask Google. I have no idea. It's less though. It's less than, I don't know. It's less, but it's still a lot of money. But they're like, we'll never see that kind of money in our entire lives. So all of these kids who are rejects and misfits and their entire educational future is ruined, which means their whole job future is ruined. They're like, we need this money. So Nagisa's buddies are like concocting a plan, right? And they start to notice that the octopus teacher has different face colors. When he's happy, he's bright red. When he's like angry or frustrated. It's another color when he's feeling casual and non-threatened. It's like green stripes. But every day after lunch, he turns pink, and they're like, "This is our time to strike." It's after lunch when everyone's tired. Maybe he's feeling tired too. That's when his guard is low. So then it cuts to class, and he has instructed the kids to all write a poem, and it must end in tentacles. And the kids are like, "What?" So Nagisa walks up. Nagisa's like, "I'm finished." And Nagisa walks up with a little blade behind their poem, about to turn it in. And when they turn it in, the teacher notices the blade on the other side of the poem. And the teacher, the sensei, is like, "Nah, that's like child's play." As if. But it was a distraction, because what happens next is the real plan. Nagisa throws himself onto the teacher, and around his neck is a grenade filled with these BBs and gunpowder. So not only is Nagisa risking their own like well-being, this is the moment. This is the moment for Nagisa to be seen, to be somebody, to do something memorable in this life. And Nagisa blows up but doesn't get harmed. And the teacher is pissed. The teacher shows a color that they've never seen before. It's pitch black. Pitch black with like scary eyes, shining scary eyes. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, like what are you doing? You're gonna hurt Nagisa." And Nagisa's friend is like, "It's fine, with $10 billion I'll cover her medical bills." And then the teacher is upset, and the teacher's like, "Yeah, I shed my skin once a month. I used my skin to protect Nagisa, but also I'm really pissed at you guys." And the teacher proceeds to go around Japan and come back. In Japan, houses will have little metal house plates outside of the home with the last name on it. It's like the family name, the family plate. And the teacher comes back with all of these family plates of the students. And the teacher goes, "I promise to never hurt any one of you. But this is a reminder that everybody else is fair game." And they're like, and the student goes, "Hey, like you're some freak of nature. You're some weird creature guy that we can't hurt. So is it so wrong that we would use extreme or weird methods to destroy you?" And he's like, "I'm not mad about that. I thought that plan was amazing. And Nagisa, especially you and your contribution, that was fantastic. The problem that I have is that none of you considered Nagisa's life, and Nagisa let you use them in your plan." So it's like really confusing, because this teacher clearly wants to destroy the earth. That's their whole mission. But also actually really loves or the kids or wants to be a good teacher. And we get a glimpse of the teacher's past. And the teacher is more of a human form. He looks almost like a humanoid man shadow. Same pitch black when he was angry, the same shining scary eyes, but he has kind of like a humanoid form, and his hair is all flowy and he looks like a chaotic shadow, and he's holding the body of a dying woman in rubble, destruction, and we don't know what happened. But the woman goes, like, "Please, I beg, like my last final request, take care of those children, teach those children," with these amazing tentacles. And there's a weird scene. "With your amazing tentacles, you'll be a great teacher." Like, what does that have to do with being a good teacher? Is weird. So I hope that that's not like a thing, because his tentacles are very phallic. And they make me incredibly uncomfortable. But so we find out that some woman asked them, and then that opens up a whole nother question, like, who is this person? What happened here? Why are they asking you to watch the kids? Is your dream to be a teacher? And then the episode ends on a hopeful note that the kids will use their year productively, and it almost seems like, oh, and they name him Koro Sensei, because Koro Senai means can't kill, so they name him Koro Sensei. And by the end of the show, it almost feels like Koro Sensei is trying to find or train the perfect assassin. It's like, yeah, it's under the premise of like they're trying to find somebody that can defeat them, but I wonder if it's because they need somebody so strong and so fast and so smart enough to defeat them, defeat maybe somebody else. So yeah, that was interesting. I went and looked on the My Anime List reviews. This has been a show that's been recommended to me a lot, so I was really curious to look in it and look into it. And I love the humor. It's very funny. It's very like serious and comedy together, which I really love. I love deep philosophical, emotional themes, but I need the comedy to offset it. Like Demon Slayer does that really well. One Piece does that really well. Haikyuu does that really well. Haikyuu, the themes are not as deep or awful as an entire family dying to demons or, pirates or anything like that. But it still grasps at your heart, you know? Yeah. Right, so a lot of the comments were saying like, oh my god, I loved this. I loved this anime. The end had me crying. So many comments were saying that the ending made them cry. So I'm excited to see how this silly little anime about an octopus teacher and a class of amateur assassins will make me cry. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!